What is going on, guys? I'm Viking Actual, and in today's video we're going to be going over the new video that Battlefield posted, which is called Exodus, right? And it's the ship itself. If you haven't been keeping up with the lore, I'm going to explain a little bit about what is happening. So the first thing to note is that the opening sequence is Irish, right? Irish came out in Battlefield 4. He was one of the main protagonists. He was not you per se, but he was in your squad. So Irish is a character that is coming back. So this is after the events of Battlefield 4. Opening sequence, it's Irish, and he just arrived in London. Now it looks flooded because it is. So London is completely flooded. I think they said something around like something like 3 feet of water some places. So it is flooded. And by the way, the visuals are amazing. It's absolutely beautiful game, or at least the trailer is. I haven't even seen the gameplay, but the trailer is beautiful, and I thought that was pretty cool. But let's get started into the story itself. So why is he in London? He is there to make a trade with, I'm not even sure who, but he is there to make a trade with somebody for pretty much a briefcase. Now what is in the briefcase is really not mentioned in the video. You kind of have to do some digging into the lore itself to figure it out, but I did that for you guys, and in case you are wondering, they do hint a little bit to it in the video, but they don't outright come out and say it. So there's Irish. He's about to do the trade, but there's an ambush, and that ambush turns out to be Pack. Now obviously Pack and Irish were in the same squad in Battlefield 4, and at the time they did not know that they were shooting at each other, right? So turns out Irish is the better shot, and he shoots Pack, and Pack goes down. He gets injured, but he's alive. So Irish takes him back to the ship, right? And he's going to treat his wounds, whatever. Pack tells him that he cannot by any means deliver that briefcase to Oz, because doing so would start World War III. Now Irish doesn't believe him. He's like, it's not the first time I've heard something like that, and it never happens. So he is still going to do what he was told to do. In case you don't know who Oz is, he is the leader of the Nopads group, kind of like a little militia that's in between the US and Russia, right? They're kind of like a mediator of sorts. If you need something done, you go to them and then they do it, right? So you keep your hands clean. So Irish goes to the bridge. He goes to the bridge and meets Rao. Rao is another specialist that will be playable. Irish will be too. But Rao tells Irish that something is falling from the sky, and it is a US satellite. So eventually, right, that's kind of like the hint. So the briefcase itself contains the coordinates to that satellite, right, to the crash site. If the Russians get their hands on that satellite, then all of the US information will be in Russian hands, right? Obviously the US would not want that ever. So obviously the US will protect that satellite. But if a US troop, right, were to actually hurt a Russian per se in that kind of conflict with the world watching, then World War III would probably start. So that is pretty much what Oz is counting on. So he's gonna go deliver that briefcase to the Russians, and the Russians are going to go there, and the US is going to defend that satellite, and they're going to start the third world conflict. So Pack is trying to stop that from happening, and Irish is basically put against a stone, and he's being told pretty much like, you either betray Oz or you start the third world conflict, right? So Irish goes and does what Irish would normally do in Battlefield 4, and that is sacrifice his own life for the better good, right? So he is trying to avoid the Third World War. So he does not want to give that briefcase to Oz. So he tells, whoever's driving the Exodus ship to go into a Category 5 storm nearby the handoff, because they were pretty much going to hand off the briefcase, to just kind of deviate so that those Oz troops could not follow them into that storm. Unfortunately, things do not pan out as Irish had planned, and they get pretty much invaded by the Oz notepads. And in that situation, Irish is put into a very terrible circumstance that, nobody would want to be in. But he then proceeds to basically throw them the briefcase. If you have not watched the video, I would recommend you go watch it. But he gives them the briefcase, and then Pac, shoots the guy that was going to get the briefcase or whatever. And at the end of it all, Pac dies. Like he dies, and that's it for him. But what is more important than that is that they actually delivered the coordinates of the satellite. So basically he died for nothing. So the briefcase itself contained the coordinates, and then those coordinates led to the satellite's location. And with that in Oz's power, he basically tells Russia where it's at, and that is the beginning of Battlefield 2042. So pretty cool stuff. I'm really into the lore. I'm going to be continuing doing these throughout the season, because the season will continue the progression of the story. So I think that's pretty cool, pretty interesting. So let me know down in the comments what you think. But other than that, that's pretty much it for me. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you all next time if you stick around.